I love the Book of Ether, but for many people, they're not sure what the book is or where it came from. Here's an activity that might be a fun way to start your discussion of the Book of Ether in Ether Chapter 1, right before you begin the lesson. I might try something like this. Hold up a Bible and say, "We have a Bible. It is a record of God's dealings with the ancient Israelites in the Old World. What do the people in the Book of Mormon have that's very much like our Bible?" Now, if they know the answer right off and say the brass plates, then that's great. And have them talk a little bit about why the brass plates are very much like our Bible. If they don't know the answer and would like a little more information, take them to the beginning of their Book of Mormon to the brief explanation about the Book of Mormon. Scroll down to number 4, the brass plates, and right there they can read that they contain the 5 books of Moses, just like our Old Testament, and a record of the Jews. It's got the prophecies of the holy prophets, including Isaiah. These are pieces of information that can help them understand how similar the brass plates are to the Bible that we have. But, you would go on to say, did you know that they also had a Book of Mormon? The Book of Mormon people had a Book of Mormon, not the Book of Mormon. They never had that. That's what we have. But they had something very similar that was another testament of God's dealings with his people. So how is the Book of Ether to the Nephites like the Book of Mormon is to us today? To begin with, it tells the story of a people from a biblical time and place who are protected by God and led from a wicked city through the wilderness to a seashore. After God shows them how to build seaworthy vessels, they are brought across the ocean to a promised land in the Americas. When the people are righteous, they are blessed by God, and when they are wicked, they suffer. Wicked secret combinations led to such unrighteousness that the people are eventually destroyed in a massive civil war. The last prophet writes an account of his people on plates of gold and hides them up. Another nation, led by the hand of God, finds them, and they are translated into the local language by the gift and power of God. The Nephites already had with them the record of the Jews on the plates of brass. Now, they had another testament of God and his dealings with his people. The Book of Ether is Moroni's highly abbreviated version of the original contents of those plates. But just how did the Nephites get the plates of ether? After the wicked King Noah was killed, his son Limhi took over, and because they were in bondage to the Lamanites, he sent a group of brave men to try to find Zarahemla. They got lost and discovered the ruined lands of the Jaredites, and they found the plates of ether where ether had hid them. As a witness, they brought them back to Limhi. When Limhi and his people were finally rescued and brought back to Zarahemla, Limhi gave the records to King Mosiah II, who was a prophet and seer, and then he translated them by the gift and power of God. Now, if you find that interesting and think your students might, especially as you're beginning the discussion of the Book of Ether, feel free to use the clips from this video, or I have a more formalized version of this called Picture Gems. I'll link that short episode in the description. But before you begin your lesson, it might be helpful to get everybody on board with what exactly this book is and why it was so special to Moroni. Why did Mormon want Moroni to include this? The Book of Ether stands as another testament to the very things that Mormon and Moroni and all the holy prophets in the Book of Mormon were testifying of. Then jump right into your lesson. I hope this has been helpful to you, and I hope it'll be helpful to your students. Have a great lesson.